craft friends, welcome back to Sweet Bay Lane. If you're new here, I'm Tracy, and I am so glad you stopped in to craft with us because this is part 4 of a 7-part series where we are DIY crafting all things spring. Yep, you heard that right. We skip right past winter and we're heading into spring. Now, if you missed part 1, 2, and 3, I'll have those linked in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get started with part 4.
Now for this DIY, we're going to be working with some very interesting and fun supplies. The first is going to be one of these gold candlesticks that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, along with one of these ceramic paint your own sets in the bunny shape, a dowel, a round piece of wood, and paint of your choice. I'm going to be using this apple barrel in Key West and Snow White. We start by painting our wood disc blue. We'll let that dry, then we're going to continue on and paint our disc in the Snow White. And once we have our white painted and it's dried completely, we're then going to continue on and we're going to distress the edges of our wood disc. And to do that, I'm just going to be using this sandpaper in 120 grit. Once we have that done, I think it looks gorgeous. It brings out that blue underneath the white perfectly. Now we're moving on to the ceramic paint set. We start by removing the bunny and setting the rest of it aside. And we're going to be snipping off the little hanger part of our bunny, and the ceramic is very soft, so it's quite easy to do. I'm going to be using these jeweler snips just to snip off the top. Just make sure to cover with your hand or maybe with a towel, just so your little piece doesn't fly across the room. And then once you have it snipped off, we're going to come in with some 120 grit sandpaper and sand off the leftover little nubs from the hanger. And as you'll see, it's flush now. For this next step, we're going to be drilling a hole down the center of our bunny as I'm showing you here. Now the hole needs to be as large as the dowel. So just make sure to measure your drill bit to your dowel size. I'm going to be using this smaller dowel and it fits perfectly. And I purchased this dowel from Walmart, but I have seen them at Dollar Tree as well. Now we're going to come in and we want to paint our bunny the Key West blue, or whatever color you prefer. And once I had my bunny painted, I then came in with this clear sealer from Color Shot and gave it a couple coats. And while our bunny is drying, we're then going to bring in our drill and drill a hole right in the center of our round wood plaque. Just making sure that your drill bit matches the same diameter as the dowel you're using. Now that we have that figured out, we'll set it aside, and we're going to be working with our candlestick now. And for this step, we're going to break off the bottom base of our candlestick and separate it from the top, as I'm showing you here. And this is quite easy. You'll just wiggle it back and forth until it breaks loose from the base. Now we have all of our pieces. We're going to start assembling our project. And we start by gluing our dowel into our wood base with some hot glue. Next, we're going to take our gold base. We're going to put some construction adhesive around the bottom edge, and we're going to slide it down the dowel, attaching it to the wood base. Then we continue on the same process with the bunny, putting the construction adhesive at the base of our bunny and sliding it down the dowel flush with the top of the gold base. Okay, that's looking perfect. For this next step, we're going to be cutting down our dowel to fit the length of our candlestick. And since my dowel is quite thin, I'm just going to take this pair of jeweler's snips and snip it off. Now that we have that done, we're going to add some E6000 to the inside of our candlestick along with the outside of our dowel. Then we're going to slide it down on top of the dowel. Then I let my project dry overnight. I came in with some pip berries and I wanted to hide the little distinguishing mark between the bunny's head and the candlestick. So I just glued the pip berries like a little halo around the top of my bunny's head, finishing it off perfect. And then you're left with this beautiful candlestick. Well, that wraps it up for part 4 of our 7-part series. And like I said, if you missed part 1 through 3, I'll have those linked in the description box below. Well, until next time, keep it crafty.